Hey guys, Collins here, and today we're back with a brand new episode of This Week News. Now, if you're new to the series or channel in general, you guys don't know what the series is about. Essentially, it's a series where I go over the news and talk about drama that happens on the internet, much like Keemstar, except I'm like twice as young and have less facial hair because I'm not very manly at all. Well, I'm also kind of fat too, that's another thing that's kind of different. But with that being said, let's just jump right into our first story of the video. We're going to be talking about how the Aunt Jemima brand has been rebranded. Now, the story came out about a couple of days ago. Now, this whole rebrand is a result of the BLM movements and protests all over the country at the moment. People want to bring down racial stereotypes and racism in general, and that's very understandable. However, getting rid of the Aunt Jemima brand, at least in my opinion, it's going to be more hurtful than helpful towards racism, in my personal opinion, because Aunt Jemima is one of the American icons. She's all over the maple syrup as well as pancake mix, and overall she's well known because of that. Now, according to the Vox article, which is titled Aunt Jemima and the Long Overdue Rebrand of Racist Stereotypes, it goes into detail about the Aunt Jemima brand and how the Aunt Jemima character is based off a racial stereotype. And I can kind of understand where people are coming from in terms of racism and such, and obviously we do want to end these racist stereotypes and such, but personally I just don't think ending Aunt Jemima is really worth it. I mean, no one looks at Aunt Jemima and thinks that it's quote-unquote mammy stereotype. We just think of, our favorite aunt who just makes delicious pancakes. All that aside, though, I just personally don't want to see her go, and unfortunately, according to the Vox article, she will be starting to be flushed out of circulation by the end of 2020, which really does suck. Without that being said and done, though, let's jump right into our next story of the video. Now, the next story of the video is a pretty serious story and a rather sad story, all things considered. It's the fact that Keemstar is planning on quitting. Now, this isn't some sort of joke or scam or some sort of, attention grabber for controversy or whatever the works may be. This is a very serious story regarding Keemstar. Now, in his latest drama alert, which just aired today as I'm recording this on Friday the 19th of June, Keemstar has announced that he is slowly going to start quitting, and they're going to be trying to look for a new host for Drama Alert.
And well, there were many comments calling me a weirdo. This person said a 40-year-old man is reporting on teens dating. Guy's a weirdo! This other person said, imagine being 40 years old and talking about teenagers' relationships. And another person said, this dude talking about TikTok is so cringe. This dude is 40 years old, man. And when I got this feedback from running this story, it made me really open my eyes. I cannot host Drama Alert forever. And I shouldn't be hosting this show when I'm 40 years old, because it is awkward and it is strange for me to cover, really young entertainers and stuff. So after uploading that video, I did come to the conclusion that I cannot be the host of Drama Alert forever. We are now looking at potentially selling my company or hiring a new host to come on over the next 2 years.
Now, the reasoning for this is because Keemstar is getting older, and people were commenting on one of his videos where he talked about teenage relationships and TikTok and stuff, essentially saying that it's kind of weird and creepy that an old dude is talking about teenage relationships. Now, personally, I kind of disagree with that sentiment because Keemstar has always been old and kind of weird, but he's very funny, laughable, and an enjoyable content creator, and it will be very, very sad to see him leave the YouTube ecosphere, especially when you take into account how much of a jackass he is. But it doesn't really matter because he can be the biggest jackass on earth. He is still a very funny person, and at the end of the day, that's kind of my personal thoughts on Keemstar. He has made mistakes in the past and will continue to make mistakes in the future. He can act like a jackass sometimes on Twitter, and overall that's basically his personality, is being a jackass. But you know what? He's a funny and lovable jackass, and while he may not be my personal favorite YouTuber, I may not check his channel out every time he uploads, I still do enjoy the content that he does make, and best wishes to Keemstar, and I do definitely hope he stays on the YouTube platform, because honestly, YouTube wouldn't be the same without him. He's like one of the cult classic creators. He may be a punching bag for many content creators like H3H3, but for me personally, he's a content creator that brings lots of love and support to YouTube channels and YouTube's ecosphere in general. That being said and done, though, personally, yeah, I just really do hope he doesn't quit. I don't care if he's gonna be like 40 fucking years old reporting on drama. It's still funny as fuck. That's kind of where the whole comedy aspect aspect comes into play. But if Keemstar decides to quit, it's his choice, obviously. And like I said before, I do wish him the best. For our next story of the video, it's yet another kind of serious story, and a story that's in general not very okay. It involves around Skai Jackson, which was a famous Disney actress, supposedly doxing people. Now, this has been going on for a couple weeks now, but one of her tweets did go kind of viral, and viral in a very, very bad way. Now, people are talking about this whole situation going on with Skai Jackson apparently doxed a bunch of 13-year-olds for saying a bunch of very, very no-no words on Instagram. Now, these are little kids, mind you. Like I said before, these are like 13-year-olds, and it's just astounding that this adult, because we gotta remember, Skai Jackson is apparently 18 years old, I believe, as the time of this recording, and this adult is out here doxing these 13-year-olds. Now, I'm not saying what these people are saying is necessarily okay, because essentially these kids on Instagram said the N-word, but in all honesty, I think that all 13 and 14-year-old kids with edgy humor say the N-word. I mean, as you get older and you mature, you realize, maybe it's not the best thing to say these kinds of words, especially in public, or, just in general, say it in general, and I do think that it's wrong and can be seen as a racist or derogatory term. But, that's coming from someone who's 18 years old. So it's coming from someone who's matured over time and understands that, saying these types of words are very offensive and just in general wrong. But these are 13-year-old kids we're talking about, and 13-year-old kids tend to make dumb, stupid jokes, or tend to make dumb and stupid mistakes in general. I mean, it's not like these kids are like fucking full-grown adults, 27 years old, going on Blogs TV with their fucking hands up, We're not talking about that. We're talking about 13-year-old kids on the internet making dumb jokes. But going back to the whole doxing situation, I don't think it's okay to dox anyone on the internet. I think it's wrong and immoral, and really there's no excuse for it, especially when you're talking about these 13-year-old kids. And she did end up leaking their phone numbers as well as their, public Instagrams, which, it's public, but still, but at the end of the day, that's still wrong. You shouldn't be leaking anyone's personal information, and especially to your 500k following, on Twitter, which could potentially host some dangerous people who may use this information to hurt the child. They might send death threats or send mean messages or just in general do harmful shit, it may not seem like you can do a lot with the phone number, but I'm sure if it gets into the wrong hands, you can do a fuck ton of damage just with the phone number. And, in general, having your phone number online, especially for creators on YouTube as well as, just even random people on the internet, like Instagram people, at the end of the day, it's very damaging and it could really hurt, and just in general, it's not a good thing. And I know there's an excuse that the kid could always change his phone number, but that's not exactly the easiest thing to do, especially for a kid, Imagine having to go up to your parents and be like, Mom, can you take me to T-Mobile? Someone rich and famous leaked my phone number and I keep getting death threat. Yeah, that would be very, very sucky. And, it's fucking stupid what the kid said. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely stupid. But, at the end of the day, he's just a kid, and I think it's wrong for anyone to justifiably say that doxing is okay. And I think that doxing is totally not okay. And as an adult, Skai Jackson, you need to realize that, you have a platform and power that, not very many people do have. And by using your power and abusing it to, hurt people who you deem racist is absolutely baffling. And even if a person is racist, like I said before, doxing them is not the answer. If you really want to change things in America, if you really want to end racism, the best way to do it is by educating the people. And if they don't want to listen, they don't want to listen. Let them live their lives as horrible people. But at the end of the day, doxing is not going to solve anything. Essentially, what you're doing is fighting fire with fire. And last time I checked, you don't put out fire with fucking fire, you absolute brain dead moron. For our next story of the video, it's a pretty big story. It's talking about how Belle Delphine has returned, which is kind of insane to me, but I really don't really give a shit. Apparently lots of people do, because her recent video made, I think, like 6 million views. Now, her recent video she made on YouTube, her comeback video, was essentially just a rap, parodying 6ix9ine's rap video, and essentially it was talking about how she had come back. Now, I'm going to try and show some parts of the video, however, a lot of it is a bit lewd. For lack of better words, it's not safe for work, and it's not okay for YouTube, and I could potentially get banned for it, or not really know, but just to avoid anything, I will try to blur out parts that I believe could get me, age restricted or whatever.
You were thinking I died. Surprise, I still got them double thick thighs, French fries.
But yeah, it's essentially her just shaking her ass for a couple minutes, For any of y'all weirdos who enjoy that kind of shit, go ahead and watch the fucking video. But essentially, it's just ear-piercing nonsense, and in general, I don't really like it, But with that being said, though, she has made a comeback, in terms of OnlyFans. Now, I don't know if she's going to be producing any more content for YouTube. However, her main video that she had made is basically just a huge promotion for her OnlyFans, which, surprise, surprise, is $35 a month and currently has thousands of people signed up. And to add on to all of this, our boy Carlos went on and, joined Belle Delphine's OnlyFans.
Oh, there's the dildo, double-ended. She's putting the dildo where it needs to go.
Now, I'll leave a link in the description down below to Carlos's video because it's genuinely really funny and I do think it's worth watching. But essentially, he paid the $35 fucking dollars to check out Belle Delphine. Now, unfortunately for you horny little bastards, you won't be seeing any nudes in this video because, it kind of goes against YouTube terms of service. But if you check out Carlos's video, I mean, he did join her OnlyFans and he'll describe to you what he sees. And yeah, it's genuinely a really funny video and you should always check out his channel and video. Huge shout out to Carlos. He makes genuinely funny and entertaining content. Link in the description down below. Now for our next story of the video, we're talking about Gabby Hanna. Now I was originally going to make a standalone video instead of making it the This Week news story. But I got new information that kind of contradicted what I said in my video, so I decided to scrap it and make it, a This Week news story. Since it is a pretty major story, however, I just personally don't think it'll fit into a normal standalone video like I said before. So essentially, if you guys don't know, Gabby Hanna has been having a meltdown on Twitter for the past couple of days, mainly because her newest song really didn't do that well. It wasn't necessarily a banger, but it did have 500k plus views as of this recording. I mean, it might even be like at 600,000 at this point, but last I checked, it was at 500,000, which is not something to be ashamed about. I mean, if one of my videos got 500k views, that'd be fucking sick, dude. I'd be jerking off to my fucking own success, just saying. But on a serious note, though, she was going on a complete meltdown on Twitter, claiming she had been shadow banned. Which, if you guys don't know what shadow ban is, essentially it's when a website like, let's say, Instagram or YouTube decides to partially block or block your content from showing up in the algorithm. Basically, it lowers your view count, lowers your subscriber count, and essentially a good example of this might have been Leafy back in the day. Currently, Leafy's channel is okay, but back in the day, he probably was shadow banned because back in 2016, essentially right before he quit, his videos weren't showing up in the search results when you'd look him up, and his videos were essentially not getting pushed to a newer audience, meaning it kind of stunted his growth, and in general, that was one of the main reasons why Leafy ended up quitting. Now, as for Gabby Hanna, when you look up her name, her videos do show up. Her channel does show up along with some drama videos, which is where Gabby has been kind of having issues because there's a bunch of drama videos showing up when you search up the term Gabby Hanna, and that's because of the YouTube algorithm. Essentially, if you search up Gabby Hanna, every video with a tag Gabby Hanna will pop up. That's basic YouTube 101. If you tag your video with Gabby Hanna, your video is going to show up. And this video alone probably will be tagged with Gabby Hanna, so it's gonna show up in the search result. Now, according to Gabby Hanna on Twitter, she did say that she had a long meeting with YouTube and they come to a discussion about, yes, the numbers weren't adding up and her channel was quote-unquote shadow banned or something was fishy going on. And yeah, that's kind of the main reason why I didn't run the story, by itself in a standalone video. I did want to add this new information in particular, and it kind of broke my story because my whole story was banking on the fact that, she was going bananas over nothing, which I still kind of think she did because her views weren't terrible. But if what she's saying is true and the YouTube numbers weren't adding up and YouTube was partially blocking a video in one way, shape, or form, then I want to give her the benefit of the doubt and say that I'm sorry for that and not believing her. However, it just seems really odd to me because, in all honesty, her channel was doing relatively okay. I mean, it was doing better than many channels out there in terms of views versus subscribers. However, I do understand why she might have thought that her channel had been shadow banned, and I do understand that maybe the numbers weren't adding up. I do wish her the best of luck. I don't hate Gabby Hanna personally. I don't have a problem with her. I don't have a problem with her content. She hasn't done really anything wrong as far as I'm concerned. But with that being said, let's just jump right into our final story of the video, which is actually going to be a more comedy-based one. Now, for the final story of the video, we're talking about the future Netflix binger. Now, if you guys haven't heard, a couple months ago, there was the whole controversy with this online gambling website, basically posting the future gamer. Now, I'll post the picture on screen right now of what they claim the future gamer is going to look like, but this company is back yet again, dabbing on the haters. They're back with the Netflix bingers known as Eric and Hannah. Now, Now, according to the website, they said, a glimpse of the future. We conducted a study on the impact of binging Netflix has on your health. We used our research to show you what you could look like if you don't change your habits, from obesity to posture damage to premature aging and bloodshot eyes. These are just some of the nasty side effects of unhealthy lifestyle could cause. We created 3D models to show you up close and personal all the bodily damage of a Netflix binger. Now, let us warn you, it ain't a pretty sight. This could be you if you keep letting that next episode play automatically. Now, I will have a video right here showing the characters moving side by side, and yeah, they're not really that, they're not really much of a looker, you know. They kind of look like that shit stain that would be on your underwear. They kind of look like that old lady at Walmart in the fucking, you know, the fucking scooter, you know, going around town, being like weighing like 500 pounds, scooting around Walmart, trying to get to her Big Mac shit at McDonald's. She looks fucking disgusting, the lady Hannah, and the man over here looks like he looks like that one neighbor who can't be within 500 feet of an elementary school. Yeah, this is not what future Netflix bingers will look like, my dudes. Honestly, the quote-unquote research that this online gambling company has, which I'm going to get into the whole fact of online gambling in a minute, but you know, the main research this company has done mainly pertains to people who just eat unhealthy and don't exercise. I mean, if you just look at them, they're obese, disgusting looking, and that's mainly just due to the fact that they don't keep up with their health, and they just eat unhealthy foods and, you know, fucking don't exercise. I mean, it has nothing to do with watching Netflix. As long as you're, you know, as long as you're careful with your health and you watch what you eat and you occasionally go outside to get some, you know, some fucking sunlight and shit, you're not gonna end up like this. And honestly, this whole charade about the Netflix binger or the gamer, it's all just a charade for this company to get more people to use their service. Now, if you guys don't know what this company is, it's an online gambling company. It's literally called onlinegambling.com, and obviously I think it's pretty obvious to say, but online gambling is far more addictive and far more dangerous than watching fucking Netflix for like 2 hours a day. I mean, come on, if you go on to any gambling website where you actually spend real currency, then let me tell you right now, folks, if you spend 2 hours on this website just throwing your money at the wall, hoping some of it will stick, you're just wasting your time. I mean, as the saying goes, gambling and, you know, fucking lotteries and shit, they're just taxing the stupid, because essentially that's what's going on here. You're just throwing your money at these companies, you know, hoping to win jackpot, when in reality, you gotta remember the house always wins, and if the house doesn't always win, the house is gonna go bankrupt. And, you know, the house doesn't really care if you go bankrupt, so, you know, yeah. It's kind of ironic when you think about it, because sure, maybe watching Netflix for 5 hours a day every single day for your entire life, it probably won't be very healthy for you, especially if you're just eating fucking potato chips and drinking Mountain Dew all day. Yeah, that's not very healthy. However, online gambling for more than maybe 20 minutes at a time per day, in fact, even gambling for 20 minutes straight, can be very dangerous to not only your health, but also to your fucking wallet. Now, honestly though, I just find it to be really ironic and honestly quite stupid that this company is stooping so low to try and, fucking destroy the competition, which is essentially gaming and Netflix and other online services, by saying that, oh, you're gonna look like shit when you get older because you watch too much Netflix, because you play too much Call of Duty. Like, no, bitch. I mean, maybe if you're not careful, but if you do too much online gambling, you could look like this. I think that online gambling is far more addictive and far more dangerous of a hobby than fucking watching Netflix. But as all shitty YouTubers say, this is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoy. Social media links in the description down below. Instagram, Discord, Facebook, Twitter, second channel, BitChute, all the dealios you already know. I don't use Facebook though, just saying. Like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new. Click the bell notification if you haven't already as well, because that really does help the channel out a lot, because you can get the videos on time instead of, you know, like 10 years later being, oh, it's in my recommended. Ooh, yeah, this week news episode from 10 years ago. Ooh. But yeah, all jokes aside, I hope you guys enjoy. Goodbye and farewell.